Welcome to the Fellowship of the Films podcast, a podcast where we discuss movies, TV, and other pop culture related topics. My name is Duncan, and with me today I have Ryan.
Yep, I'm here.
I like how every episode I say, with me today I have Ryan, as if you're not here every single freaking time. And it is our podcast, and I say it as though you're a special guest.
I am special. You don't understand.
So, today we're going to be discussing just DC in general. DC right now has
DC
lots
did
to discuss. DC has a lot to discuss because they're like, DC, people in charge of DC are like a bunch of minions.
Yes.
Unpredictable.
Yep. And most of the time, it's not good.
Most of the time, idiotic. So, lots of stuff we'll discuss. Ryan already knows about some of the stuff. I'll just bring up from hearing because I follow it online and
He's in the know.
I'm in the know when it comes to DC. And we're just kind of gonna discuss what the hell we think is going on with DC. DC actually
Comics, yeah.
DC they actually got a studio now. It's now DC Studios.
Really? It's like Marvel Studios.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're just copying
They
Marvel.
got a studio. Well, no, they got a studio. They're not copying Marvel.
Well, then what did they have before? Nothing? It's just DC?
It's Warner Brothers, DC.
It's just Warner
DC
Brothers
Films.
Studios.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw this. Okay, I'm just the messenger. That's what I was told. It's now DC
Shoot the
Studios.
messenger. I do shoot the messenger. That's what I always do.
First thing we're going to discuss is
yes.
Well, just the general. Let's start with the general slate of movies. So they've got the movies that we've got coming up are Black Adam.
Black Adam, yep.
The Flash.
Yep.
No. Let's go in order here. Black Adam.
Yep.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yes.
Aquaman.
Aquaman 2, yes.
The Lost Kingdom.
I think so, yeah.
And The Flash.
Yes.
Now, release dates have been an absolute mess for these four films.
They've been pushed back a lot.
They've been pushed back. They've been switched. It's a mess. I remember a while ago, I can't remember, but couple months ago, DC came out with, I think it was before the release of Batman, around there. DC came out with
their plan, right?
Not really a plan, but they came out with a commercial that they played before movies. Mm-hmm. And because I think I saw it when I went to Uncharted, but it was like, it would say DC Films 2022, and it would show the Batman, then it would show after the Batman, Black Adam, I think probably, then the Flash,
yep.
Then Shazam, something like, I can't remember. No, the Flash wasn't in there. Flash was next year. It was Aquaman. Not in this order. Aquaman, Batman, Shazam,
Black Adam, and Shazam.
Yeah,
those four movies were supposed to come out 2022.
That's right, and they released a commercial and played it in theaters for a couple weeks, saying that those were DC this year, and it looked really solid. Like they were like, this is what we're doing. Then they pushed everything, stopped playing that in the theater.
What was their first reason? I think, right?
I don't remember what the first reason was. They're always a mess, and I've lost, apart from the current reasons for things, I've lost track of what was the reason when.
Yeah, okay.
So then they rearranged everything, and that was not the plan anymore.
They got creative. Yeah.
The last plan was that Batman came out, then Black Adam was October,
yep.
Shazam was December, and that was what it was not long ago that I was seeing the Shazam trailer saying this Christmas. I was so freaking excited.
Yeah.
And then March was Aquaman, and Flash was in the future somewhere. Just today, I believe it was, they pushed everything again. Or maybe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
They pushed everything again. They said, so Black Adam's too close, so they're doing Black Adam.
Yeah.
But apparently the reason was that they didn't want to interfere with... they wanted to get IMAX screens for Shazam. And if they released Shazam in December, all the IMAX screens would be taken up with Avatar.
What?
Like, there's only a certain amount of IMAX screens.
Yeah, I guess.
Right?
But,
so,
Avatar 2 is coming out.
Right.
I honestly forget that's a movie. Okay.
Yeah, so Avatar 2 is coming out, and apparently, like, Shazam 2 is supposed to be big and grand, and they want to have access to as many IMAX screens as they can, so they pushed that. So now, this year, all we have is Black Adam. Mm-hmm. Shazam is now moved to March, when Aquaman was supposed to be. Yeah, Aquaman's moved to next December 2023.
Wait, it got moved that far?
Yes.
Holy,
and the Flash, I have no idea when the Flash is supposed to come out. So,
2025, Flash.
They've pushed everything again. which I don't think anybody who really is into these movies would notice that much. Except I'm imagining just like a general audience member being like, how long have these DC someone who's not keeping track of this must be like, how long has this movie been meaning to come out? Because I've been watching trailers for this for freaking, like Black Adam, we've been seeing trailers for forever.
But Black Adam's actually coming out.
Yeah. We just saw it. To be fair, we've just seen the trailer for Shazam. So someone who doesn't follow these release dates might not realize that these things keep getting pushed. But as a DC fan, it is infuriating because I was so excited to see Shazam in December.
I honestly, Shazam, the first Shazam was one of the DC movies I quite liked. So I was actually that second one. I think I was excited for it. You know,
I thought it was pretty good, and so I wasn't here nor there. Like I wasn't in love with it, but I thought it was pretty good. The second one almost looked better to me. There was just a lot more going on. It was much larger scale. It's supposed to be a much larger scale. So I was disappointed with that. I'm also disappointed that we're pushing Aquaman is over a year away now. Largely over a year.
Yeah, and wasn't that supposed to be like this December, like a while ago?
Yeah, a long time ago it was supposed to be this December.
That's crazy. Like they got pushed it back over a year now in total.
So
that
DC Films is interesting. Now let's add in. Well, you know what? What are your thoughts on what they keep pushing stuff? Obviously, I don't think it's gonna be good. Like I don't like it.
I think DC. To be fair, if we look at every single problem that DC has had to deal with recently, right? Because we had the rather public trial of Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp, right?
Right, which was the initial pushing of Aquaman. I think.
Yeah, because we don't know exactly what's happening, but that affected that obviously.
Yeah,
right?
I think she's out of Aquaman completely.
I've heard out reduced. All I know is
she very limited role.
It went into reshoots.
She'll have a very limited role, if any.
Mm-hmm. So all I know is it went into reshoots. So, okay, that affected it. Then they have Ezra Miller and his conquest of chaos. It's the best way I could describe it.
He's put out an apology now.
He did.
Did you know? Did you hear about that?
I didn't see the apology.
Okay, so he put out an apology saying that.
Was he just on like a mental brain break or something?
You know what? For our listeners, and since this episode is already going to be a little short, give me a moment here, and let's look up Ezra Miller's apology.
Okay, so but then they had that entire controversy basically then, right? And then on top of that, what else was there? There was, and then they're just dealing with the tail end of COVID still, and it's been a nightmare between all these little factors. It's just crazy, you know?
Okay.
So now we have the Ezra Miller apology.
So, give me one moment here.
If he says something like flashy in there, I'm gonna actually cringe. Be like, it's time to get back to something flashy. So.
Okay. Why can't they just? I'm so tired of articles like this. I don't care what you think of it. Can you just give me the article, what he actually said?
Okay, but our preparedness aside, what do you think about overall? I've got my thoughts. Now, what are your thoughts on all of this? Like, I know you're a bigger DC fan than I am, so I know you must be quite disappointed then, right?
I'm not happy with this. They keep pushing films I want to see.
Yeah.
Between Marvel kind of disappointing me lately, and Marvel, you know what? As much as I get mad at DC for pushing films, Marvel has so much coming out that's not a special occasion anymore.
No.
Marvel stuff used to be a special occasion. Oh, there's a Marvel movie coming out. Gather up the boys and we're all going to go to the theaters and see it. Now there's just so many Marvel movies coming out.
It's just not as exciting.
It's just another Marvel movie. Whereas, you know what? With DC pushing everything, when we finally go see a DC movie, it's going to be an occasion. Whether or not...
even if it's terrible, it's still going to be an occasion.
Exactly.
Because DC hasn't really... Okay, let's just do a comparison here. DC hasn't released anything since the Batman, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Super Pets.
Super Pets, but I'm not counting that. Because is that in the DCEU? No.
So, well, it has Black.
So, let's look at how much has Marvel released since March? They've released at least 2
Multiverse Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Thor. They're coming out with...
She-Hulk came out, Ms. Marvel came out, and I
Moon
think
Knight.
even Moon Knight may even been coming out at that point. So they've had free shows in 2 movies.
And a movie in November.
Yeah. And a movie in November. In the same time that DC has done 2 movies.
Right. Which
now, I don't know if we've been counting DC shows exactly, but
DC could be doing a little bit more. But
if they do,
I feel like here's my opinion. If DC releases 2 movies a year, but they're really freaking good, they can get ahead of Marvel in this race, because Marvel releases so much, but half of it is not great anymore. Yeah. So if DC could only release 2, but they were like
if they were
awesome,
both if they could release 2 solid, guaranteed 7s, hopefully 8s or higher of 10, bam.
So Ezra Miller, interesting.
My man, Ezra Miller,
interesting person there.
Yes.
Said, having gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment.
Oh, really?
He says, what they say, pardon me. I'm because they've changed their pronouns, they, them, just so you know, too.
I didn't even know that.
So let's just try for that.
There's so many articles, I did not read all of them.
Okay, so
Ezra Miller, yes.
They have said, I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upsetted with my past behavior. I am committed to doing necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage of my life.
Okay.
So, that does sound like a relatively honest thing from them, but they're going to have to do a lot more than that. That's not get out of jail free card.
No.
They're going to have to do a lot of, and I think that's why The Flash is one, as much as I want to see The Flash and as impatient I am, I get why DC keeps pushing it, because if they can wait long enough that Ezra Miller gets themselves on board,
and all this will blow over eventually. Nobody will be thinking.
Because ideally, they get themselves to a point where they can do like promotional material. Because if they were to release The Flash right now, Ezra Miller's not going to be able to go around doing interviews.
No way.
So they could wait till a time when they can, and it's just kind of ignored, because there's tons of actors, actresses that have had
they have
problems,
and then they come back,
So
even I remember I've heard something about even RDJ or whatever in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that one. The Flash, as much as I want to see it, and I'm impatient to see it,
I can see why you're pushing that back.
Yeah. But the other ones, I question a little. I get the reasoning for Shazam, but do you need to push it all the way to March?
Yeah,
I guess I don't know how movies work. Maybe they had a slot in March already, so they needed to put it there because they didn't have a slot anywhere else.
I think they needed they have a release window probably, and they still want to release in that window.
Right. So.
Although they do lose the December release window because they want IMAX.
Right. So I don't love the pushing of everything, but you know what? Worst case scenario, I'd say. Best case scenario really is if all this pushing.
Just relax.
This gives everybody. I don't know how. Again, I'm not terribly educated yet on how the film industry works, but this does give them more time with these movies. So I would really hope that by the time these movies come out, you've put some serious thought into them. We shouldn't be, for movies that have been pushed and pushed and pushed.
They shouldn't feel rushed.
Well, no, I'm not even saying rushed. We shouldn't have silly plot holes, because you've had plenty of time to watch the heck out of this and make sure there's no silly plot holes.
Oh no! Here's the only problem, though, right? Is think of it. You ever go have a math test? Right?
Over prepare.
Yeah, and you don't over prepare. You look at the same question and you breeze through most of the test, right? But you're on that one question, and you
had it right the first time.
Plenty of time,
but you keep
running in circles. You know what I mean? And this makes you start questioning everything, and then everything goes downhill because you have so much time. Now I don't know if it's going to be that, but that's the only thing I thought of.
I'm hoping that isn't the case.
I'm hoping they release some good content. And we can actually, that's the thing. Because if DC can actually, currently at the point, they're not really putting up a fight, honestly. Compared to Marvel, they're not releasing anything.
But nobody cares anymore. DC is not even a conversation anymore.
Exactly. Now, if we can get a solid, fight between DC versus Marvel, that will be good. Because it'll hopefully be able to, at that point, right? You will start getting good DC content, and then Marvel will be like, oh damn, DC's releasing good content. We need to release good content. Yeah. And they'll start releasing less but better content.
And then we have just amazing.
And then we just have two sets,
balance,
two sources of good content, and it'll be like amazing.
Balance, as all things should be.
Exactly. And then, so other stuff can exist too.
Yeah. So I think essentially what I think at this point with the way DC has left things, I think what we really need is for Black Adam to be freaking amazing. It needs to be new.
It at least needs to be
lovely, and
it needs to be, what's the right word? A solid movie, at least.
It needs to be certified fresh and around meals. If we get like a 65%,
like an Eternals rating, basically, kind of thing.
Well, I think Aquaman got around there, so 65 is bad for DC movie, but it would just be really nice if it would be really nice for the studio.
If we could get like if we could get just
if Black Adam was really good.
If it was successful and it got a little bit of like positive buzz and it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it'd be amazing. And I'd love to go see a good Black Adam. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't really. To be honest with you, they're really gonna have to interest me because Black Adam is the character I'm least excited to see in that movie.
Makes sense.
What is with the Fly? Do you see this Fly?
I know. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, interruptions in podcast because there's a fly.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna move on from this release date debacle to the next interesting thing that Warner Brothers did. They canceled the Batgirl movie.
Oh yes, they did.
So this was a while ago, but they've been suffering
off the production floor, and they put it on the shelf, and then they burnt the shelf.
Now the interesting, well, I don't know if I think it still exists somewhere, but the interesting thing about this decision is that this movie was finished filming. Yeah. It cost them $90 million already, and it was finished. There was some post production to do, but it was finished filming.
Where are they getting all this money from?
Yeah, they're not making any, so I'm confused. But anyways,
I get Warner Bros. Is a big company,
now a new person was in charge of Warner Brothers. Yep. It was Dave Zaslav. I don't know what his name is. He's the one who decided to do this.
He's taking the company in a new direction, obviously.
Yeah, essentially. So, and the funny thing he said was they're looking for a more Marvel perspective, and they're going to do like a 10-year plan and everything, like Marvel did. That's great, but DC has said they're going to do a 10-year plan multiple times in the past 10 years, and they haven't. They
haven't stuck to it.
And I think that's partially what DC's issue is. I think we've discussed this before, but every time one movie doesn't work, they go, oh, we have to scrap everything and we have to start over. No. If one movie doesn't work, you have huge characters. These movies are going to make a decent amount of money because you have huge characters in them. Just keep putting things out even. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Unless it's absolutely bad. But
I don't know. Currently, well, I mean, maybe you're just seeing it a little bit through like a little bit of rose-colored glasses right now.
Yeah.
But currently, I think they just need to start releasing good things, and that's the main thing is they have to start releasing good quality like products, right?
Right.
Do we even have a Superman right now?
That's exactly.
Do we? Who's our Batman? I don't know. Have we looked at the? Let's look at the news.
Well, actually, Batman's Robert Pattinson.
Yes, we have Robert Pattinson.
But we don't have an in the DCEU. We don't have a DCEU Batman.
We had Ben Affleck, but he's gone.
And now apparently
but he's also back for reshoots. And then we have Michael Keaton, who's in 3 separate projects, one of which got scrapped. Another one he got somebody else reshooting for Batman, and the third one is The Flash.
Yeah, that's the Michael Keaton thing is a very good point. Like, okay, first of all, let's identify the Michael Keaton news. So, have you seen either of the movies with Michael Keaton as Batman?
Nope.
Okay, so
I hear he's good. That's all I know. All I know is that was a long time ago, and he's old now. I've seen Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
The man's old.
So when I heard Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman, I didn't know how good it would be, but my nostalgic side was very happy. The first Batman movie I saw was Batman 1989 with Michael Keaton. So I was very excited because I'm like, oh, we're going to see the old Batmobile, the old Batsuit, all this stuff, right? And then I'm starting to doubt we're ever going to see him as Batman because, again, Batgirl, that was the things he was in. Batgirl was scrapped.
Yeah.
Aquaman, they're putting Ben Affleck in it too now, so I feel like Ben Affleck is replacing Michael Keaton's roles. Nobody knows what's going on with Batman in the DC universe.
Yeah, so we don't.
There's just so much speculation going on. Even we're just theorizing here essentially. We don't even know what's going on either. Nobody knows what's going on with the DC universe, and I think
that's the problem.
They need to come up with a plan hefty and quick, and they need to start generating some hype around DC movies because people are starting to forget that DC freaking exists.
Well, let's look at if you're looking at your Justice League, basically, right? We don't know what the hell's happening with Batman. We don't know what's happening with Superman.
Wonder Woman's got a third movie on the way.
We have a Wonder Woman. Okay, cool. We got a character. Okay.
Yeah, but that movie's not even start filming. So
yeah, that's a long time away. And then what else do we have? We have
an Aquaman. We have Aquaman and Flash are taking.
We have an Aquaman and Flash. And the Flash is Ezra Miller as of current. So that's kind of that's iffy. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we don't have a Cyborg either.
No.
So what do we have? We have 2 characters and 2.5 characters right now.
Yeah, essentially.
And then some new guys like Black Adam. And your general audience has not heard of Black Adam before. I'm just letting you know. Unless the only reason they know about it is because Dwayne Johnson said, "Yeah, we're gonna make a Black Adam movie," and then they
now hold on. We don't always need big names. You know what? Remember what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy? Nobody knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was.
Yeah, but
so
here's the
Black
thing.
Adam could become some kind of instant classic, but
it has to be good though.
But you know what? They gave Dwayne Johnson and the person directing that, I don't know what their name is, a lot of freedom there. So I feel like it has the potential to be really good.
Mm-hmm. It just needs to be good though.
It does. If they fail Black Adam, and then don't have a movie till March, and it's Shazam, they're gonna have a troublesome time. So the current state, I'm a little concerned. Now the whole Batgirl thing. Do you think what do you think of that? Because it was canceled, and it was said there's multiple reasons floating around, rumors. It was said there was poor quality. It was said that it could be. There was multiple reasons floating around. Do you think that they should have just released her? What is your opinion on the entire affair?
I think if it was, because I've heard it's both good, bad, finished, and unfinished, right? Mm-hmm. So if let's go through the little A-B pie graph, basically, right? If it was good and finished, they would have released it. So it can't be both, right? If it's or someone's stupid, one of the two, basically, which is very possible, but you know what I mean.
That's DC Films.
Or if it's good but unfinished, I feel like they would have kept working on it a little bit more, right? Or else, because currently on all their other projects, like The Flash and even The Flash with everything, it scored half decent test scores. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna keep working. They keep working on it. So if it was good and unfinished, I think they would have kept working on it, unless they didn't want to have 2 like cash cows there just both bleeding money because they didn't spend $90 million on it already. You know what I mean? Then let's go through if it's both bad and unsalvageable, like bad and unfinished. Okay, fine, scrap it. Just take that loss and just move on, basically, right? But if it was bad and finished, honestly, I still wouldn't release it either. Just because DC needs to improve their image. Their image is not great right now. People think their movies are bad. Some of them are bad. Some are good, but most of them are bad from the past. You know, in general public.
The last couple haven't been bad, but they've been very disjointed.
Yes, and they haven't. And the last couple haven't really felt like a part of a. Like, there's the Suicide Squad, which
they've all been very individual.
Yeah, the Batman was an individual, completely different like universe. And the Suicide Squad was good, and Zack Snyder's was a campaign rehash of something that does no longer exist. So not a rehash, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So here's my thing with it. I think the problem with what they decided to do. Now I heard it was that they were going in a completely different direction. So maybe they do have a plan, and Batgirl just didn't fit into that. But the problem with canceling a project that far along.
Because when was that supposed to come out?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the problem with canceling something that far along, as beloved as Batgirl, because we've never got.
Have we ever gotten a Batgirl ever?
No. Well, not an individual movie. There was a Batgirl that showed up in a 90s Batman movie.
Okay.
But not in not in her own movie. So the thing with this is that no matter what direction they're going in, here's what I would have done. Cancel Batgirl, release great news the next day. Like, we're announcing this exciting thing. All they did was cancel Batgirl, and that made fans really angry online. Like,
they've been working on this for a while.
Yeah.
Because this was back when Whedon started.
Yeah, he was originally supposed to be in charge of this.
Yeah. Jeez.
So my issue with this is they just made fans more mad.
Oh, I know. So do you want to know the reason why they canceled Batgirl?
Okay, well, there's no for sure reason.
You want to know the reason why they said they did?
Why?
Because they're working on cutting costs at this time, and so it sounds like they.
Oh, that's right. I heard about that. That's a tax write-off.
Not the tax write-off. They just didn't want to. If it cost more money to release, they didn't want to spend more money on this because they're focusing on theatrical releases right now.
Yeah, but like they could have just released this on like streaming service.
Because they were going to only release it on a streaming service.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to spend more money to make it good, so they just scrapped it, and they're gonna focus more on like their theatrical releases right now.
I still think they could have dropped it for relatively low money. I
don't know if it was
they angered more people.
I think you could have just if you just slam it on a streaming service.
I think they angered more people by canceling it than they did, like, unless it really pays off for them, because there's a lot of angry people. There's even actors in the movie campaigning to get the movie released. Like, that was just today, but there was like one of the actresses in the movie is like saying how much time and effort was just put into this movie and how passionate the people in it were, because it was one of those movies, like, you hear about those movies where the cast and crew, the directors and everybody's really passionate about the project.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those movies.
It was one of those. Okay.
There's been campaigns online and like just from both people involved in it.
Don't tell me we're gonna have another release the
Batgirl.
Release the
I
Batgirl.
just don't understand why. Even if they said, "Well, we want to go in a different direction," it's not that hard to make it part of the continuity.
It was part of the DCEU.
Yeah, and it's not that hard. Even if they want to go a different direction with the DCEU, it's not that hard to just take out the direct connections and say it still exists in the DCEU.
Unless although we haven't seen it, so it may be difficult.
Yeah, but my point is, I really think they should have released it. They just angered more people by not. Mm-hmm. They're causing a lot of. They cancel so much that they're causing. I'm wondering if that fly is going to be in their recording.
No, don't worry about it.
They're causing a lot of anger towards them because they cancel so much, and I just think one more thing, people are just really starting to get like angry.
Oh, yeah.
With Warner Brothers.
Well, the hardcore fans are getting kind of annoyed over in between everything.
I'm a DC fan, and I'm really struggling to still be excited for this stuff because they just push things and they cancel things. And you know how much I would like a Batgirl movie? Batman being my favorite character. The Batgirl movie is huge.
Oh, yeah.
I just, you know what? You know that movie was also supposed to have Brendan Fraser as Firefly? Do you know who Brendan Fraser is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the main villain.
He was supposed to just be...
He was Firefly, and Firefly, like, you know, he has the flamethrower and freaking... So we have Brendan Fraser, Michael Keaton, J.K. Simmons returning as Commissioner Gordon.
For a HBO Max streaming release.
Well, everybody was in on it for some reason, so these people all must have...
Must have been like a passion project, almost.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, I'm like... really angers me. It really angers me. So, ideally, if I was in charge of Warner Brothers, which I'm not, obviously.
Really?
Here's what I would do. I'll go, you know what, actually, let's finish up Batgirl really quick and give it to fans because we're going to be leaving them hanging a lot lately because our movies are extremely spaced out. October is Black Adam. Let's really efficiently finish this up and give in to it like in December, January. Hold them over.
Just give us a December release kind of thing.
Exactly.
Even if it's just something on HBO Max.
Right onto streaming. Christmas time. People are home. People can watch it.
They're looking for something to watch. They're releasing the Batgirl movie. Okay.
Plus, it's from what I heard, like it's not super harsh or anything or dark. So you know, you can. It's Batgirl. You can throw it on. Okay. I just. It would have been a great thing, even if they make it low budget. it would just be a great thing to just throw up to, even if it doesn't do very well, just to keep the fans less angry, and there'd be something DC floating around, so it's not just an absence of DC.
I don't know. I feel like you could, if you've already spent $90 million, I think you could just be like, yeah, here's, just give a guy, be like, hey, okay, here's like something really small, like $5 million or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the prices are for things, but give someone a menial,
a little bit of money and be like,
this.
here, patch this up so it's releasable.
Yeah.
And just chuck it out.
Yeah. Or even if
doesn't need to be great. Just here's $5 million. Just make it something that we can release on HBO Max that's half decent quality, and just to get more content out there.
Yeah.
Because we have such a break, and especially if Black Adam hits big, just a little bit more content. Even if you can scrape a 7 out of 10 out of it. You know what I mean?
Also, like,
Release
if
it.
Black Adam is great, that's wonderful and all, but if they don't have another movie till March, people aren't going to be riding the DC. They're going to go, oh, that was great, and forget.
That's 5 months. Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Oh, I didn't think of that. It's only 5 months. It's not that long, but still.
It's still quite a bit of time comparatively to these Marvel releases.
Yeah, which we don't want DC to release too much, but
they have
with their lack of anything, it would be nice. Or even if they used it as a... Because I think The Flash right now is scheduled for next summer, but I doubt it's going to be released next summer.
Yeah.
So, chances are we're going to have a giant gap. We're going to have Shazam in March and Aquaman in December.
And The Flash is supposed to be in the middle. Okay.
But I doubt The Flash is going to be there. So if they threw up Batgirl right in the middle just to keep something going there, even if they did that, I don't know. I really feel like they could have salvaged something, and they've angered more people than they have. I don't understand the payoff that'll come from this, but we don't know. This is all speculation and theorizing on our part. But what do you think?
Honestly, overall, I never heard about the project till it got canceled.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing?
No.
Okay. Well, I was excited for it.
I was like, okay, whatever. I'm more like wanting it to be released for people who care about it. You know.
Yeah. Well, DC's just famous for canceling, butchering, and...
DC likes their war crimes.
Yeah.
But on that note, this is...
I think we've ranted about DC.
We've beaten the dead horse enough. Just like DC beats their properties. Now.
So, now everybody's updated. That's what's going on with DC. That's our opinions about it. That's our theorizing and complaining about it.
Yep.
And... Well, I'm guessing our next discussion about DC will be when Black Adam comes out. Hopefully a positive discussion.
I would like some to be positive. Unless, like, Ezra Miller relapses, robs a bank, and, like, you know, I don't know, man.
Yeah. But there's the thoughts. There's the kind of DC gossip lately. Give us a follow and like and a subscribe, whatever the words are.
Yep.
For all of our social media. It's all... Where is it?
In the About section of our channel.
The About section of our channel.
As well as linked in the description of this video.
There you go. Tune back in next time. And yes.
That's Duncan. I'm Ryan. Peace out.